Hello, everybody. It is so fantastic to be back here and seeing all of your beautiful faces. It is hard to believe that it has been a year since I was last
Really
on
happy,
stage announcing Laravel Nightwatch. We've got a hot mic. So we've been very busy in this last year. We launched Nightwatch this year, Cloud. We've been very, very busy. And so today I would like to take a moment to give you a bit of a recap of what we've done and some of the stuff that we are working on. So starting off with some numbers. In the open source world, we now have over 100 public repositories, I think 109 at last count, over 7,000 total contributors across those public repositories, a combined total of 224,000 GitHub stars, and over 67,000 pull requests, which does not include all of Taylor's pushes directly to main. Laravel as a company has also been growing. We're now over 90 people across 26 countries. 9 of those people are on the APAC team, with 7 in Australia. And we still have 0 office locations. And because we're a globally distributed team, it also means that we can ship 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Click, a click. One more click. Click. Oh, there we go. And so the other cool thing is all of our community events that have been going on. So this year alone, there has been over 120 meetups that we know of across 24 different countries with over 3,000 attendees. This works out at approximately 1 meetup every 3 days, which is pretty impressive. In terms of Laracon and Laravel Live, there has been 6 major events this year, including the one you're at right now. Over 100 speakers, over 1,200 slides viewed, and we also announced a new location, which is Laravel Live in Japan next year, May 26 to 27 in Tokyo. And I'm very excited to announce that tickets are on sale today. CFP is open, so go to laravellive.jp and get your tickets. All right, so next up, let's talk about the Laravel framework. It wouldn't be a Laravel keynote without a routes file demo. I'm no Taylor Otwell, but I'm going to do my best to give you a tour of some of my favorite features that we have launched recently. All right, so we have our routes file here. Hopefully, we're zoomed pretty good. We happy? Excellent. All right, so first off, I want to show you the new exception page for local development that we shipped recently. This was designed by our very own Jeremy Butler and built by Ryuta Hamasaki, both on the Nightwatch team. We can kind of ignore the code here. I just wanted some code that would throw an exception and make the code snippets on the slide look good. So let's jump over, and I like this one. Oopsie, what have I done there? There we go. Make this one like this, there we go. So let's have a look at our new exception page, and here it is. So you might have already seen this, we shipped this recently. It has all the information you need to debug your application locally, but redesigned, and I think it is very, very beautiful. So we have our exception stack trace, we can see all of our vendor frames, any of our application frames, we get the code snippets, we can see the exact line of code that triggered the exception, all the other frames, any database queries that occurred, all of the headers from the request. If it was a post-patch request, you'd see the body, and also the routing information and routing parameters, and a lovely Laravel logo down the bottom. This also, of course, has dark mode and light mode automatically, and also Marcel Possiot recently introduced a copy as markdown feature to the previous exception page, so we made sure to include that on this one as well. This just copies all of the information from the exception in a nice markdown file, really useful for pasting into your AI chats to help you debug your applications. Alrighty. So next up, I want to talk about cache memoization. This was a feature added by our very own Tim McDonald, also on the Nightwatch team. And what I want to first show here is listening just for the retrieving key events, so we can see every time we actually hit the cache. And then I'm going to put a value in the cache, and then I'm going to retrieve it twice. This is not using memoization to start with. And although these are both in the same place in this particular example, imagine that one of these is in a middleware, one of them's in a controller, maybe one of them's in the service class or some other place in your system, but we're retrieving the same key. So let's go ahead and we will go to, I'm going to go back to light mode. We'll go to cache memoization, and we can see that we had one event for retrieving the key. We got our value Laracon, and then a second event. So we hit the database twice to fetch the same value in the same request. So cache memoization is a really easy kind of no-brainer feature to just add in. You can just say cache memo, and if we refresh this, we'll see that now we've only hit the cache a single time, and it memoized, which is a funny word to say, that value and was available the next time without having to hit the cache again. It's also very clever in that if you write to the cache after you have fetched it, so here we're going to fetch the name, we're then going to replace it with something else, and then we're going to fetch it again, and we will see that it hit the cache once, got the value, then because we changed the value, it hit the cache again, but then it didn't hit it the next time we requested it. So you don't really need to think about it, it's just something that you can just start using right now. All right, next up we have automatic eager loading. This was contributed by Serhii Litvinchuk, and this is a really insanely cool feature. So first I want to demo what this looks like without automatic eager loading. So we're just going to listen for all of the database queries that we run. We're going to fetch all of the users from the database. We're going to iterate over those users. Then we're going to iterate over their posts. And then we're going to iterate over those posts' comments to spit out the comment. So if we go to our browser and go automatic eager loading, so this is without automatic eager loading. We can see that we fetched our users, but then we fetched the posts for just the first user, and then the comments for just the first post. And so if we scroll down, we can see that we're just constantly hitting the database. This is kind of like a nested N+1 situation. And so in order to solve this, you can use Laravel's lazy loading load helper and with helpers, but now you can also turn on this automatically eager load relationships globally in a service provider. And if we refresh this page, we'll see that now we only ran the only 3 queries we needed, which was to fetch the users, then to fetch the posts for all of the users, and then to fetch the comments for all of the posts. So coming back to the code over here, you might be wondering how this works. Is it just automatically loading every single relationship just in case you need it? No, it doesn't. When you get to load this relationship off this user is aware that it is inside a collection of other users, and so it can defer the loading of that post's relationship to the collection above it, and it can populate it for everything else inside that collection. So really cool feature, really, really love this one. All right, next up we have the HTTP batch feature. So before we talk about this one, this was contributed by Wendell Adriel. But to kind of see why this is useful, first I want to show you synchronous requests and how batch really helps in certain scenarios. So in this example here, we're just going to dump out that we're starting. We're then going to make 3 synchronous requests. I've created an endpoint here that we can just ask it to sleep. So we're doing the first request, we're calling A, sleep for 3 seconds, the next one sleeps for 2 seconds, and then the last one sleeps for 1 second. And then we're going to dump out those. We're using Laravel's benchmark helper, which is amazing, and that will dump out how long this took. So let's come back over here, and we'll do HTTP batch requests. So we're starting. Now, we have to wait for all 3 of those requests to complete. So there's a 3 second, a 2 second, and a 1 second. So we had to wait 6 seconds or over 6 seconds to get all of those responses back before we could do anything else. So there is another option that shipped fairly recently, I believe, which is HTTP pooling. So with this, you use the HTTP pool method, and you pass in all the requests you would like it to make, and it fires these off asynchronously using curl. So again, we're going to make the same 3 requests, the 3 second, the 2 second, and the 1 second. And if we run this one, this should now only take the time of the slowest request. So this took about 3 seconds because we had that 3 second request, but the 1 second and the 2 second were also running. So this is really, really cool, but HTTP batch takes this an extra step further. So let's comment out this stuff. and come down to HTTP batch. So it's the same API as pool, but you'll call HTTP batch, load up all your requests. This time, for demo purposes, I'm also asking this endpoint to return different status codes, because you'll see why that is relevant. We can name these, you don't have to name them, but it makes it easier to see what's going on here. So we're gonna make those same 3 requests, but we have all of these hooks that we can hook into. In this case, I'm just dumping out all of the variables that are provided to each hook, but we have the before hook, which will fire before any of the requests are made. The progress hook fires after each successful request. We have the catch hook, which will fire after each unsuccessful request. The then hook, which fires only at the end if all requests were successful. The finally hook that fires at the end regardless of what ones were successful. And all of these get the batch passed to them, so you can kind of inspect the current batch, what else is in progress, etc. And then they all get various things important to their scenarios. So let's go ahead and run this one, and we'll see that data starts, things were able to render as things were coming back. So we can see we had our before hook here where we got the batch. We got the second one back first. This was a catch, so this one had an error. We get the response back in here, so we can expand this and see that this was our 404. We then had progress from our successful one, so this was our A, and then C. So they came back out of order in the order that they completed. And then finally, down the bottom, you get all of the results back in the order you define them. So this can be really useful if you have to make a lot of HTTP requests and you want to update a UI somewhere. So you could dispatch WebSocket events in each of these to show progress of what is happening. So I think this is a really, really cool feature. All right, next up we have the deferred queue driver. So this was contributed by the one and only Taylor Otwell. I've got a job here called sleep for 2 seconds, and surprise, surprise, it sleeps for 2 seconds. So it will dump that it's about to sleep, it will sleep, and then it will finish sleeping. So I'm going to dispatch this specifically on the deferred connection, and we're going to then return that the response was sent. So just like the defer helper in Laravel, that means this job should run after the response has been delivered to the browser. So if we come back over here and we do the deferred queue, we'll see the response was sent to the browser, and then this job happened afterwards. Now, because I'm running artisan serve, this output is actually, the browser stays connected just because of the way that PHP's web server works, but in a PHP FPM type scenario, this would all happen completely after the response was delivered, so it won't impact the speed of your application at all. So that's really handy if you've got some logic that you want to, you don't want to dispatch it to a queue necessarily, but you do want to perform the work afterwards, and you want to do it as a job. But where this one really comes into its own is when you combine it with the next feature, which is queue failover. This was again contributed by Taylor Otwell. And what we're going to do here is listen for this new event, this queue failed over event. So we're going to dispatch this event on this new connection called failover. So if we go to our queue configuration, we'll see we've got a new connection here called failover. The driver is failover. And we can define all of the connections that it should try in order. So in this case, with the default, it will try the database connection first. If anything goes wrong, if there's any exceptions, it can't talk to the database, it will then try the deferred driver instead. And you can load as many of these in here as you want. For this demo, I'm going to change this to Redis because I don't have a Redis server running, so we can simulate the failure pretty well here. And so if we come over and do our queue failover, we'll see we had our queue failed over event, so we can see this command, this job was the one that failed. We can see the Redis exception, connection refused, but we can see that the job was still done. And also, importantly, we didn't get an exception about that Redis exception. If we were back over here and we just did this just directly to Redis, we would just get a Redis exception. That's a bad experience for users. So queue failover is really good to kind of prevent those errors from happening and send the jobs somewhere else. I think it would be really useful to set up multiple failover connections. So you might have one specifically for email. I think that's a great example where by default you want to send it to the queue, but if your queue driver is down, you still want to send that, welcome email or new registration email. Having it fail over to the deferred one is nice. It won't impact the customer's experience because it will happen in the deferred part of the request lifecycle. If you've got other jobs that deferred just doesn't make sense, they're really long-running jobs, you could have a separate failover connection. So you kind of configure this however you want and whatever makes sense for you. We found this particularly useful for Nightwatch. We're using Redis on AWS, and when you want to resize a Redis instance, it goes into read-only mode. And when you're using Horizon, you can't dispatch jobs to a read-only queue. So being able to have it automatically fail over to the database driver meant that we could keep processing our jobs while we were resizing Redis. Alrighty, and then last of all, we have cache failover. Again, tributed by Taylor Otwell. So in this case, we're going to listen for all these different cache events. So we've got a cache hit, cache miss, key written, and then this new cache failed over event. And you can probably imagine what this one's going to do. So to start off with, I'm going to try and store this directly in the Redis cache store without using the failover. So let's come over to the browser and we'll hit cache failover and we'll get our Redis exception. So let's now change this to use the failover store. And again, if we come to config cache, you can see where we can configure our failover. And similar to the queue failover, you can configure as many stores as you want and it will try them in order until one works. So the default here of database then array, I think this is a no-brainer to use for everybody because it means that worst case scenario, it will use the array failover instead of throwing an exception if your database is down. So I'm going to put Redis up here at the top, which we will expect to fail. And we've had that as failover. So if we run this one, we can see that it failed over on the Redis connection. It then had a cache miss on the database connection. Because I was using cache remember, it now wants to write that value to the store. So it failed over again trying to write the value to Redis, but then it wrote it successfully to the database and we have our value. And I think if I refresh this quickly enough, we'll see that we get the cache hit from the database. So obviously, this is going to mean that the performance of your application might suffer a little bit if you're not using your primary cache. But to me, that's a lot better than having an error, being able to have that safe fallback. The array driver to me is a really, really good one. It won't really help with the performance, but it will help with that reliability. The array driver just stores values in memory, much like memoization. Alrighty, so that is everything for the routes file demo. So let's see if I can go back to my slides. So we have been doing a lot at Laravel this year in the framework, much more than I have time to show you on stage here today. So we have started publishing a changelog in the docs with all of the new major features as they come out. So if you want to keep up to date with all of these new features and many more, check out laravel.com/docs/changelog. This year, we also launched a new set of starter kits. So we have starter kits now for React, for Vue, and for Livewire 3. The React and Vue ones are both built now with TypeScript, Inertia 2, and the various ShadCN component libraries. The Livewire 3 starter kit comes with Laravel Vault and Flux UI. The thing I really love about these starter kits is they're no longer a package you install. They're just a template repository that scaffolds your application, and then all of the code becomes your code. You can customize it in any way you want. It's just a fantastic point to start. We will see the UI of that later, but you might have already checked that one out yourself. To summarize some of the high-level features that are in the starter kits, you can spin them up with built-in Laravel authentication or WorkOS AuthKit. It comes with a beautiful dashboard ready to customize with a variety of different layouts ready to go. Built-in CI workflows, a small thing, but super great to just have to hit the ground running with all of your GitHub CI stuff to run all your tests. It comes with user settings for profiles, updating passwords, all those sorts of things. Light and dark mode, of course. And we recently shipped a new blank starter kit option. So this is really useful if you want to start a new React app or a Vue app or even a Livewire app, but you don't want any of the views, but you don't want to have to go and install the packages and then configure Vite and configure SSR, all that sort of stuff. So they're just ready to go. You can start building React and Vue apps and Livewire apps in the blank one. And then also 2FA support, which is very near and dear to me. So that is now included in all of the starter kits. We've also been taking a look at all of your favorite packages and giving everything a complete kind of refresh, starting with Horizon and Telescope. These are getting a brand new redesign by Jeremy, who's on the Nightwatch team. So these are looking fantastic and hopefully shipping later this year. Not 100% sure, I should have confirmed that, but hopefully soon. We've also been working hard on Spark and Cashier. So Spark has a brand new design, and Cashier has been updated now with support for the Stripe Bazel API, which I believe is the first big, major version change since they started. So that was a lot of work, and now you don't have to worry about that with the new version of Cashier. We also launched laravel.com/learn. So this is not intended to replace Laracasts. It's got a handful of really beginner-level introductions to PHP and Laravel. It's a fantastic resource for anyone you know that's just getting started. It's a video course setup where you'll run through and build the Laravel Chirper app from the original bootcamp. So yeah, highly recommend sharing these around with anyone who's just getting started in PHP and Laravel. All right, now let's talk about front end. So the open source team at Laravel has been hard at work this year. So there's quite a few things to go over here, so I'll try and go through this fairly quickly. First off is the Stream View and Stream React, the Echo View and Echo React packages. So these give you helper functions to make it easier to integrate WebSockets into your application and remove a lot of the boilerplate. So the configure view helper, you no longer need to pass it all of the configuration options. It just automatically detects all of that. So all of that commented code, you can delete all of that. And then the use echo hook, that's the really key one. That automatically listens for your mounting and unmounting and does all of that kind of legwork for you, so you can just focus on what your application needs to do when those events come in. We also launched a Stream View and Stream React helpers. These are designed, again, to remove a lot of the boilerplate when dealing with streamed responses from Laravel in your front-end app. So it will kind of handle a lot of the receiving the data in chunks and putting it all together and give you a bunch of handy methods for knowing the state of what's coming in. Ustream is really helpful when you're building especially AI applications, when you've got streamed AI output. And we have a open source demo app called Larachat, built by Josh Sheary, and there's a video that goes along with that where he shows you how to build an AI chat app and also how to use the new Stream helpers. Next up, Inertia. So late last year, we launched Inertia 2.0, which was a very, very big change in philosophy of how Inertia works. At Laravel, we took over Inertia, so it was originally built by Jonathan Rennick, but we've taken that in-house, so big thanks to Jonathan for that. And then later, throughout the year, we've been adding more and more features to Inertia 2. So the three most recent ones that I think are really exciting is the new form component, view transition support, so that's a browser API now supported in Inertia, and infinite scrolling. So I would like to demo those three for you now. Alrighty, so form component, let's close all of these ones. I'm going to come over to this edit user component. This is a view component. I might just zoom out just a little bit. So this is using the existing use form hook at the moment. This isn't going anywhere. This is still a great way to build forms. But for a lot of forms, you kind of have this boilerplate you set up at the start here where you define the form, and then down in the template, you use that form object to construct your form. So I just want to refactor this to use the new form component so you can see what that looks like. So I'm just going to delete all of that from the setup. So now we only have our props coming in. And down here, where we've got this regular HTML form, we're going to replace this with the form component. We're going to import that from Inertia. And we'll just go down and update the one at the bottom. And so this form component, we can treat it much more like a traditional HTML form, which I think is really cool. So first of all, we can specify our method. So in this case, this is a patch request. This form is just updating a user's details, a very simple example. So we can specify our method. Instead of listening for this submit hook, we now just specify the action, and we just want to pass in the URL that it will be patching this data to. Next up, when we have our inputs. So with the use form model, your form is effectively what's called a controlled form. So all of these inputs are controlled inputs. Every time someone types into it, it goes through our render lifecycle. With this new form component, again, these just work like regular form fields. So this just becomes name, and then the name is email. So again, like you're writing a old school HTML form. Now this is a form that is editing existing data. So we still have the ability to pass in the current value using Vue's default value. So we'll say props.user.email. And then for our password, again, we'll just change this to name. And we don't need to provide a default value for that one. And so last off, we have these errors and the processing values that we were previously accessing off the form object. Now we can access those via the default slot. So we can say errors and processing, and you can pull off any of the things you're used to working with Inertia's form, with useForm. And so we can now replace all of these form dots with nothing. There we go. And so that's what the new form component looks like to act with. It's not a massive change, but it is, to me, a nicer way to write forms. There's less boilerplate up at the top of your component here, and now also dealing with an uncontrolled form inputs can also be nicer for performance. One other thing I wanted to show you here is a thing called Laravel Wayfinder. So this is another package that we have shipped recently. It's not Inertia specific, but it pairs really nicely with Inertia. So where we have this action here, we have this kind of stringy thing here where if I was to put a typo in here, we're not going to get any errors about this being wrong. It's not going to know until runtime when someone tries to submit this form that this route doesn't exist. So using Laravel Wayfinder, Wayfinder connects your PHP application with TypeScript. It generates TypeScript definitions for everything it can find about your Laravel application. So I'm going to change this action here, and we want to post this to our user controller. So we can just pull the user controller from Wayfinder, and then we have the edit and update methods on that controller. So we're going to use the update method, and we're going to call that. Now it's angry because it needs some arguments. Because this is an update route, it has the user ID as one of the route parameters. So we pass in the user ID, and now this will generate the route to this controller method. Now this returns an object with a URL and method property on there, so you could call just the URL. But when you're using the form component, you can actually just pass the entire object, get rid of the method, and now you've got complete type safety with how this route works. So if you refactor your code, change the route, it will automatically update. But if you refactor something in a way where this route needs an extra route parameter, or you change it from an integer to a string or anything like that, you'll get errors in your build just the way you want. So all of that is available today, but there is one other cool thing that we've been working on as well that I want to show you that will be coming soon. And for that, I'm going to jump into a second version I have of this edit user form. So currently this only works with the use form helper, but we're working on it for the form component. And that's asking Wayfinder to tell us about the response and request shapes from our application. So up here, we are defining the props that are coming into this component. We're defining them manually here. So there's kind of a bit of trust going on here that if I change this here, we'll get errors in our TypeScript file, but there's no guarantee that this is what the server's going to send us. So what we can do is now replace the type definition here. And in this case, this is the edit user component. So if I come to our user controller, so this is where this string will come from. So the edit user is the name of the component we're going to render, and we're passing it the user. So we can just say edit user, and it now automatically knows the shape of this response. So we can jump into this definition, and we can see it knows the user. It knows that it's an instance of app models user. And so now down here, this is aware of everything that is being returned to the front end. So email, name, all that sort of stuff is now available, full type safety over here. The other part to this is if we come back to our controller, that's not our controller, our form validation here. So we're validating this request has an email address and a password. They're both required and strings. So we're defining this form here, but again, there's no kind of promise that this is going to actually be accepted by the server. So what we can do is pass in the type here. So in this case, this is our, we're going to be posting it to the update controller, no, the user controller. User controller, and we're going to be passing it to update, and we want the request shape. And so again, we can jump in and have a look at this, but it knows that the the shape of this request is an email that's a string and a password that is a string. So if I came down and tried to set this to a default value of null, we're going to straight away get our type error. Now this gets live updated. So if I come into my user controller and I say this password is nullable, with any luck, this little squiggle will go away fairly shortly. But if not, if we jump into this file, we can see the password is now optional, and it can be a string or null, and yeah, it's gone away now. So this will be coming very, very soon. I'm really, really excited about this because I think this really connects the gaps between the PHP and TypeScript, again, to give you that type safety. All right, so next up, I want to show you infinite scrolling. So I have this infinite scroll component here, and currently this is using regular pagination. So if we come over to the browser, down to my little inertia tab, we have this page where we're outputting logs. So these are from oldest to newest, and when we get to the bottom of the page, we've got pagination, life is good. If we come over to our routes file, we can see that we're just returning these logs from the controller. We're just returning them in the oldest order, paginating 25. I'm sleeping for half a second because it's local and it looks too quick otherwise. So let's now take this paginated page and make it into an infinite scroll page with very, very little code. So the first thing I want to do is wrap this in inertia scroll. That tells inertia that this is this data can be used with its scroll component. So if we come over to our front end, the element that's wrapping where we're looping over these logs, I'm going to change this to the infinite scroll component, import that from inertia, update that one. Now this component needs to know which prop it's going to be infinitely scrolling. So we can say data equals logs. And then we can actually, that's literally it. So if let's just delete this one from up here and go back to here. So if I get to the bottom of the page, it'll automatically start loading. I'm not clicking anything there, but we no longer need these pagination links. And also it'd be kind of cool if we could see that it was loading. So I have a little snippet here where we can control what it will look like when it's loading more information. So now when we get to the bottom of the page, here we go, we can see that it's loading more logs as we scroll the page. You'll see the URL bar is getting updated, so the page number as we scroll is getting automatically updated. The great thing with that is that if I refresh the page, it drops us back on page 9, so we can share these links. If we now try and scroll up, it will go and load the previous pages as we scroll up. So it's two-way infinite scrolling out of the box. It has a lot of other tricks up its sleeve, so you'll have to check out the docs, but there is one more I want to show you, and that is reverse infinite scrolling. So reverse infinite scrolling is really useful in a log scenario or a chat scenario where you want to present the data from oldest to newest, but you want to start at the bottom. You want to start at the newest stuff. So a chat log, always starting at the bottom, but it's important that they are shown from oldest to newest. So that's the case with this these logs here. So in order to reverse this, I'm just going to pass the reverse property here. In our routes file, I'm going to now ask for these to come from latest, so we're going to get the newest ones first. And the only other thing we need to do to make this work nicely is reverse the data in the front end as well so that it puts it in the order that we expect it. So we're going to call toReversed, and with any luck, I'll just delete this so we start fresh over there. So this has automatically scrolled us to the bottom of the page. So this is the newest log in the system, but they are still in order from oldest to newest. And of course, if we scroll up, we can go back through the history of these logs until we get to the start. There's a ton more slots that you can add in your own pagination links. You can switch it to manual mode so that after a certain number of of infinite scroll loads, it will go into manual mode if you want people to be able to access the footer on your page. You can control how far away from the edge before it loads the next page of data. So you can probably make it so users will likely never see the loading stage, but at the expense of maybe loading data that they won't actually even scroll to. So that's infinite scrolling. One more cool thing I want to show you in Inertia is actually just on infinite scrolling as well. Very quickly, that was infinite scrolling using the full page body. But I'm just going to uncomment this container here. So this will put this into a scroll container with overflow scroll. And we'll see that this still just works in this little scroll container. And you can have multiple of these on the page if you need. You can address them separately. So yeah, super cool feature. And that is ready for you to use now. So View Transitions. So View Transitions is a relatively new browser API that allows you to animate the transitions between pages in your application, both SPAs and multi-page applications. So we have the starter kit here without View Transitions enabled. So if I was to go into here and go into the settings page, click through, we just get the kind of standard experience. You can enable View Transitions on a link-by-link basis if you would like, but you can also enable them globally. So I'm going to come into our app.ts file and uncomment this line here. And this effectively just sets the View Transitions to be true as the default option, the default visit option on any links that get created. So by saving this and now clicking between these, we'll see we automatically have nice, smooth transitions. So these are the default browser transitions that we're getting here. But of course, we can customize these. So I did prepare one earlier that I can uncomment here. So this is how we target these in CSS. So we can target how the old view disappears and how the new one reappears. And if I save this, there we go. So just because you can doesn't mean you should. But yeah, I look forward to seeing how people use the new View Transitions API in browsers, and especially now that we have inertia support. Alrighty. So next up, I want to chat about AI. So we now have an AI team at Laravel building a bunch of exciting new AI things. So this year we launched two big things. So the first one is Laravel Boost. So Laravel Boost has three main features. The first feature is a set of 15 tools that can tell AI more context about your specific application. So it gives AI the ability to query your database, query your routes lists, read your logs, run commands, all that sort of stuff. It gives it much more in-depth access to your application beyond what the model has been configured for. The next feature is always up-to-date documentation. So we feed it with up-to-date documentation for the specific version of Laravel and also a lot of other popular packages that you are running. So it always has up-to-date documentation. You don't have to wait for the models to be updated with the latest Laravel releases. And then the last big feature is it comes with a set of guidelines for PHP Storm, Claude Code, VS Code, the other one, I can't remember, that has an opinionated set of defaults that we at Laravel have crafted to help AI write better Laravel code for you. So that one is available now. We also recently shipped the Laravel MCP package. So this allows you to build your own MCP servers into your applications so that you can integrate with AI and have AI able to grab context out of your application to create all sorts of delightful user experiences. If it could, you could be able to ask it, book me a flight. You can expose that through an MCP server and make that all available. So we've been playing with this a lot internally, and it is pretty cool. The last thing on the AI front is Taylor recently teased that he's been working on building a new Laravel AI SDK. So this is to make it even easier to integrate with AI services like OpenAI and Anthropic and all of those cool things. So Taylor's been building this one himself. He said it is the first handcrafted Otwell package since Laravel Livewire Vault in 2023. And I believe he plans to ship this one this year, so we'll see how that goes. But yeah, really, really exciting stuff there. All right, next up, Laravel Forge. So this year, we made our biggest update yet, an entirely new generation of Forge. We redesigned everything from the ground up. James Brooks and his team did a fantastic job. James will be talking to you tomorrow about how they went about building this. But I think the way that they've redesigned the UI, basically taken a fresh look. Like Forge has been around for, I think, over 10 years at this point. And so this has given it just, yeah, a fantastic fresh coat of paint and completely changed the way you use it. There's a bunch of new features. So we now have Laravel VPS. So you don't have to have a VPS with a third-party provider anymore if you don't want to. You can just deploy straight on Laravel VPS. Forge now has 0 downtime deployments and an Envoy migration tool. Dark mode and mobile UI, of course. The command palette in Forge now has been supercharged. It is the best way to navigate around Forge. I would highly recommend using the command palette to get anywhere in Forge now. Circles were replaced with organizations and teams with full role-based access control. There's now heartbeats and health checks, a new Forge API. The Forge API is really popular from looking at Nightwatch stats. So there's a brand new API that's much nicer to use. Real-time metrics for a lot of the VPS providers. Improved PHP management. So instead of in your deploy scripts having to say PHP 8.4 and 8.2 and whatever versions you're using, you can just now say PHP and Forge will automatically use the correct version for whatever you've specified for that site. Improved domain and SSL management. And there's also a web terminal, which is really cool. If you're using Laravel VPS, there's now a terminal in the browser. It's a multiplayer terminal, so multiple people can jump in and collaborate. So that one is really cool. 2 things that are not mentioned on this list, but 2 of my favorite things. One is that the shade of green that they used, or the shade of gray, I should say. So normally when you choose gray, you choose like a neutral or a zinc or any of these sorts of things. And I think Forge started with one of those more neutral grays, and it didn't kind of feel like Forge. It kind of felt a bit like Cloud, to be honest. And the team introduced a hint of green. It's almost imperceptible. And that immediately took it from feeling like Forge again. So I was really excited to see that. And the other really cool thing is background processes or daemons can now be configured at the site level rather than the server level. So I don't know if you've used Forge, but previously they were always at the server level. But often when you're thinking in terms of a site, I want to go and create the background process there. Now you can. They're still available in servers, so you can see the whole overview. But yeah, per site stuff. Next up, Laravel Cloud. So we shipped Laravel Cloud this year. We have been hard at work. We have released a whole bunch of new things. So much better pricing. We've improved that across the board, and also the features. So now you can have custom domains on any of the plans, including the free starter plan. We've launched a bunch of new regions, including Sydney and most recently Ireland. We now have SOC 2 Type 2, MySQL support, web application firewalls, preview environments, and in early access we have the Cloud API, Laravel Valkey, which is a drop-in managed Redis replacement, and also now managed WebSockets. So I would like to demo managed WebSockets to you. So managed WebSockets in Cloud allow you to spin up a WebSocket server that is completely managed in Cloud, and it is powered by Laravel Reverb. So let's see what it looks like to spin one of these up. So I'll come back to my browser, come over to Cloud, and I have this Laracon AU WebSockets demo. It currently has a database and a cache, but no WebSockets. So I'm going to come down here and add a WebSocket server, create a new WebSocket cluster. I'm going to deploy this one in Sydney, and then we can choose our max concurrent connections. That defines the size of the instance. How many people we got here? I'll choose the 500. That should cover us, and I will create this WebSocket cluster. This will go ahead and deploy this WebSocket cluster. So I think the deployment will take around about a minute. I'll just make sure this one gets created before I start talking more. Come on, QUT Wi-Fi. Maybe it's already deploying. Not yet, lots of whips. Where did it go? I'm going to try it again. Oh, it is there. Let's save and deploy. All right, are we deploying? All right, so this is deploying. So this is going to, again, be a managed WebSocket cluster. It's going to automatically set up all of the passwords and authentication and inject those environment variables into your application. So you don't need to worry about configuring any of that or managing any of that. While this is deploying, I want to talk a little bit about the pricing. So I'll switch back over to my slides. So this is the pricing for managed WebSockets on Cloud. So we have a variety of different tiers. And that defines how many concurrent connections you can have and how many messages per day can go through that WebSocket service. The really kind of exciting thing here is these prices are up to half the cost of competing managed WebSocket services. So really, really proud that we have a really solid, easy way to now build WebSockets into our application. So hopefully the deploy has finished. All right, it's built. Nearly there. What do I do while I wait for this? Hey? I cannot cartwheel. Alrighty, that has deployed. So I'm going to come over to this, give it a refresh, and if you all want to get your phones out, you can have a play with this. And I'm curious to see if the Wi-Fi treats us well. This was an app built by Josh Siri. Oh my goodness. Okay, cool. That was so much more exciting than when I was playing with it with a couple of people earlier. So hopefully the updates come through. Yeah, they're coming through. So this is running on that WebSocket cluster we literally just deployed. And if you'd all like to focus your efforts on whichever one's got the highest, we can find out what the highest level of emoji is. I'll come and help you out. This one up here, top left. Let me spam this one as well. We're not going to get to 500, are we? Maybe. Oh my goodness. Zoomed in. 172 of you already. That's amazing. All right. You all can keep playing with this. I'll leave this one up for a little while. But I hope you enjoy whatever you unlock at this unknown number over here. That's so cool to see. Alrighty. So Laravel WebSockets is available today. It was early access, but today, when the cloud crew wake up, it will be going into general availability, ready for you to start using. Last of all, Nightwatch. So Nightwatch was launched earlier this year. We've been hard at work on a whole lot of new and exciting features. First of all, though, let's look at the numbers so far. So to date, or to yesterday, we have ingested over 148 billion events from Laravel applications around the world. That is over 100 terabytes of uncompressed data, but only 6.9 terabytes compressed. We're using ClickHouse. They graciously sponsored the conference, and ClickHouse is powering all of our data storage on Nightwatch. So of that 148 billion, 5.9 billion of those are just requests. 91 billion of those are queries, so that is probably our highest metric that we receive. There has been 565 million exceptions. I don't know if that's good or bad. It's not in the billions, which is nice, but also, like, you don't want that one to be high, but it's, yeah, it is what it is. And we have, at last count, over 27,000 application environments that we are monitoring. So Nightwatch has been, very, very fun to work on. It's been a fantastic launch. And a few of the things we have shipped recently is improved exception traces. So now we capture code snippets from the exceptions that fire in your application. So in Nightwatch, you can see that context of where in the code that came from. We have advanced sampling and filtering, so it gives you more control over what data gets into Nightwatch. We also have redact helpers, where you can redact specific pieces of information if that's important for your use case. We have Octane support, a Slack integration now, so you can have Nightwatch tell you on Slack when there's a problem. We increased the quotas across all of the plans, including the free plan. We recently introduced light mode. We have improved issue management, so you can now do bulk actions on issues, and also really cool is you can auto-resolve issues when they become stale. So you can say after 7 days, 14 days, etc., automatically mark that as resolved if it hasn't been seen again. We recently launched in Sydney, very exciting. We have improved event management. So out of the box now, we're a little bit clever about which events we ignore to help you with your quotas, because that's been by far the main thing as people burn through their quotas. They generate a lot more events than they realize, which was the same for us as well. We had no idea how much we were generating until we installed Nightwatch. We also have a deployments feature, which is currently in early access, but we also recently launched support for Laravel context and capturing the headers and payloads on requests. So just quickly, Laravel context support is really handy if you want to add additional contextual information in Nightwatch. So in this example, in this middleware here, we're going to save the tenant and the project. We're going to add that to Laravel context, which can be used for all sorts of purposes, but Nightwatch will now save that information and present it for you when you drill into that request, so you can see what the tenant was of the project or anything specific to your application that's not kind of a general Laravel thing. And the header and payload capture. So header capture is enabled by default. We automatically redact all the common things that you don't want leaving your system, so authorization headers, cookies, tokens, all that sort of stuff, but you can customize those lists. Payload capturing is not enabled by default just because there's too much data that could be in a payload that is sensitive, so we didn't want to just turn that on for folks. But if you do turn it on, we do ignore a lot of really kind of common things like the password field, password confirmed, CSRF tokens, all those sorts of things. The payload will be captured only when an error occurs, but again, it helps give you that extra information about what went wrong. All right, so that's everything I have time to tell you for today. We have been working on so much more, and we have so much more exciting stuff planned for next year, and I cannot wait for you all to see it. Is that really how long I went for?
No, that's how long of lunch is left. No, that was
That's
okay.
a lot of time for lunch.
That was okay. You did very well there, and you had a lot to cover. I have a few questions. Jess is going to be on the team panel tomorrow, so we will go through the rest of them, I think, then.
Cool.
But a few, I think, that we want to get through. Is Laravel Live Japan, is it going to be an English spoken conference, or is it going to be Japanese?
Great question. So it will be multilingual. So some of the talks will be in Japanese and some will be in English. So you can submit if you're English speaking. Everything will be live translated. So Ryota Hamasaki on the Nightwatch team has been working, he's been kind of coordinating on the ground all of this. But I believe there's an app you can, and it will live translate in whatever language you choose. So yeah, cool. A mixture of talks. The CFP is open, so I don't know what the balance of speakers will be, but it will be, I guess, the first kind of multilingual Laravel Live, really cool. Which is pretty cool.
Amazing. There's lots of questions. Some of them would have been answered in your talk already. Some of them we'll leave for tomorrow. You are starting to sound a bit American, apparently. Are there any strategies we can implement to help maintain your Australian accent?
I didn't realize this. Okay. I mean, my spelling has definitely become American. I use, Zs instead of Ss and leave out the Us and all that sort of stuff. I don't know how to say cache or cache anymore.
Yeah.
I've kind of forgotten how do we say it?
We say cache.
Cache. Okay. Yeah. I think I've just listened to too many people saying cache.
Fair enough. Well, thank you very much, Jess. We'll talk to you again tomorrow.
Awesome.
And we didn't run too late, so thank you.